Welcome back, fellow farmers and friends, to episode 8 here on No Man's Land. Now, before I get too much further into the episode, I feel like the very first thing we need to do is just take care of... I need to explain, one, why it's taken so long to get another No Man's Land episode up, and two, I need to explain why what you are staring at in front of you on your screen, probably wondering, man, where did they get that big barn from? I see he's added another greenhouse down. Looks like he put another chicken coop in. We did. All of that happened. Just give me a moment here to explain how this all came to be. I recorded episode 8 the other day, and I was very, very happy with how it turned out for the recording. I got done, turned the game off. I opened up my video editing software. I placed the video inside said software to begin the editing process, and I realized that the file had no audio. The unfortunate side of it is I had saved all of our progress on No Man's Land because, again, I didn't know that I wasn't going to have audio in the recording for whatever reason. I don't know. So nonetheless, we had to save, and we saved all the changes that we made. So this is going to be a little bit of a quick update for you all here in the beginning, and then we do have some chores here around the farm that we need to get knocked out and taken care of. So yeah, let's take a look at what we've done so far here around our farm. So the most noticeable and large change is we actually have a real barn. Now this barn here does a lot of different stuff for us. There is a vehicle workshop inside this barn, which is very nice for us to have. So we were actually able to sell our other vehicle workshop point that we had placed down, actually in the same spot that the chicken coop was in. The barn has some outdoor pallet storage areas, and you can see the few eggs that we do have, we currently have stored around the pallet system. We placed it down here because I felt like this was really one of the better places to have this large of a barn, because I would like to use the areas up on the other side of those couple small silos there in the greenhouses. I would also like to use that for something else, maybe another future animal husbandry location, who knows. We did add ourselves a diesel tank down onto the farm. It is filled up. We moved down inside the barn, and you can see there's just space for days. We have the entire semi in here, takes up barely any space. We have our case tractor, we have a fertilizer spreader, our seeder, our twin screw combine harvester, our plow. We also bought a planter in the last episode because we needed that. I'll show you what field we have planted and what we planted it with here shortly. And then you move over here, they have a nice little loft area where you could probably put a few things up there just to make it look very usable. And then one of my favorite things with this barn here is like the day room slash lounge area, fully equipped with a bathroom. Absolutely awesome. The pictures on the wall are super cool, especially that one there that shows it at night. Almost makes you think that you have like some sort of camera system that's overlooking the inside of your barn. Looks like the actual editing file for the barn itself. Got some nice views out here. We did a little bit of landscape work just to kind of give the map a little bit more character. And then when we're done here, we can just pop right out the front door, which leads us right into our next addition to this location, and that is our chicken coop. So what I figured was it was a little inconvenient to have our chickens all the way across the farm, well away from us. So we went ahead and we put our chicken coop down over here. Now, with that being said, the chicken coop that exists over yonder, I'll say, where we originally started farming at, still does exist. We are going to let the chickens basically just run out of food so that they can still produce eggs, and at which point we will restock this chicken coop here with more chickens. We'll get them producing more eggs, and I think what we're inevitably going to do is, at some point in time, I think we're going to add another animal husbandry, and I'll show you guys what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we roll with adding a sheep barn. Now this sheep pen right here holds 65 sheep. All we need is some grass, some water. We can also use some hay if we want to tether up some either some meadow grass, or if we eventually end up putting our own grass field in. But this one here, it also matches the theme of the farm that we have going on with the red so far. I'm actually a pretty big fan. I like this location right here. I feel like it makes very good use of this little area of land here on the farm, and we can still even continue to dress it up with a little bit of trees. I'm trying to use some of the natural trees that are already placed on the map in order to place this down. I would really like to just line the sheep pen up with the edge of our barn in a way, and then kind of just bring that back as close to the road as possible, so that way when we're driving by, it's very easy to access the tipping points for water and for the grass. Yeah, I'm thinking this is a pretty good idea, because then we can get into the production of wool, which then we can take it to the spinnery. We can have fabric made, and then we can get into the clothing development and start selling off some clothing, which makes a ton of money. Clothing makes so much money. So I'm all about it. We're going to throw the sheep pen down. There it be. We now have a nice little sheep area. Now what I'm going to do here is I do want to just kind of dress this up ever so slightly with a few more trees. Yeah, all right. I like that. I think that looks pretty decent. We'll take that. We'll take that. Dress it up a little bit. Some trees, some additional bushes out there. Now, the only thing left to do is actually purchase the sheep. But before I do that, I would like to make sure that we actually have some grass that we can tip in here. And then we also need to get some water. Now, we have a few different options on what we can do for water. We have some points that we could actually just draw our own water from. We have a very large water tank here that we could store some water in and draw from in order to keep the sheep going with some H2O. We also could just do a garden pump, but I'm thinking what we're going to do, again, to continue matching what we currently have, I think we're just going to go ahead and throw down this little $500 dealio right here. And we're basically just going to set this right here. And this is going to be our point where we can draw some water to bring over here for the sheep. Now that brings up the next thing that we need to focus on getting, and that is an actual trailer to haul water. Now, a few different ways that we could do this. I've been thinking for a little bit of time now. It's probably about time for us to upgrade our truck. I think we're in a pretty good spot to go ahead and take a look at upgrading the truck. Our car here, $780. It's got a slew of hours on it. It's a little banged up, overused, and is certainly in need of replacement, and I think it's well deserved for us. Now, a few different options that we have. I have some different mods installed here, of course, but I'm a big fan of the TLX 3500 series trucks. They're relatively inexpensive. They have plenty of horsepower, and some of the combinations that come with them are what really get me. This is what really intrigues me with some of these TLX 3500. So we have the Tipper series, which holds 108,000 liters of grain, of silage, of chaff, of whatever it is that we can come up with. It holds 108,000 liters. Now, we do currently have a trailer that holds 150,000 liters of stuff. So I'm not saying necessarily that we would have to go with purchasing the tipper for this truck. Let me go back to the combinations here real quick. But the ABI tanker is definitely where it is at. For $6,000, we can get a tanker that holds 60,000 liters of water, milk, liquid fertilizer, herbicide, slurry, digestate, you name it. It'll even hold, I think this one here will hold fuel, so we could even do some transporting of diesel. If one of our tractors ran out of gas out on the field, we'd have that option. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to pick up this truck right here. I like the horsepower behind it. Full extras. Let's see. I don't really care to have full extras. Let me take a look and see what that's really giving us for that. It gives us like the little exhaust stack right there. I mean, I feel like for $6,000 extra, that's just really not it. Engine setup wise, that gives us 620 horsepower for $2,000 extra. I feel like that. I mean, that is perfect. We're going to have the ability to hook a gooseneck trailer up to this as well, which is excellent because that also could service a purpose in the long run as we move down the line and have more stuff to load up. I think the only thing really left to do is just take a look at the color of the truck because I'm not really a huge fan of the color that's currently on there. I do like, no, that's a little too bright. I do like some of the greens that they have in here. The olive greens really are not doing what I thought they were going to do. Oh, let's see here. Where do we want to go with a color for the truck? All right, I'm thinking this is it right here. I like the blue. I think that's actually a really nice color blue. Let me make sure I get the name of this blue here. It is Goldhofer. All right, Goldhofer blue. Then we just went with some jet black and then some dark gray. And then we went with, I think this was, yep, carbon fiber for that as well. I think this is going to be the truck right here for us. Let's go ahead. We are going to purchase that. Now, we're going to go back. I do want to customize and get some combinations for this. The ABI Tanker XL, this is going to be pretty simplistic here for us. So we have the Unreal sprayer right here. So that's going to hold our 60,000 liters of whatever it is that we need to put in there. Realistically, from there, I don't feel like there's anything else I want to change with this. Let's just go ahead. We're going to purchase that. Done. The last thing that I would like to get is going to just be the general pickup bed. There's nothing else we really need to be too concerned about. The flatbed here, it does give us the option to gooseneck the trailer. That might be something that down the line we look at purchasing, but we really don't need it yet. The pickup truck is nice because we can haul just a couple pallets around in the back of this. So let's go ahead and set this up. I don't really want to take up any additional space here in the back, as you can see with like the toolbox and stuff like that. So we're just going to keep that set to standard. Special editions, we're not going to worry about that. Liveries, we're not going to worry about that either. Attachments, we could also put the gooseneck attachment in there, but again, I don't think that we need to worry about that. We're going to go with the wide design for the fenders because that's what we did on the truck. The main color, we're going to go Goldhofer. The design color, we're going to go dark gray. And then that is it. That is going to color match with our truck very well. Let's go ahead. $12,000 for that, relatively cheap. We're into a whole new vehicle for about $55,000. Might as well just say $60,000. Now we have a truck that has much more capability and much more functionality than the truck that we currently have, which reminds me, the last thing that we need to do is say goodbye to our old 1986 Lizard pickup. She's been a good truck here around the farm. Been here since day one, but I think it's time to go. Can't grow attached to it. We got to make changes. We got to stay relevant. We got to stay current. And I feel like that's one of those necessary changes that we need to make. Let's jump into our new truck and get everything set up. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go and collect some water right away, get that placed over there at the sheep pen. And then we're going to take a look at purchasing some sheep and getting them down here on the farm. All right, I filled up with 21,000, almost 22,000 liters of water. We'll go ahead and we will get this filled up. This is not going to hold all 21,000 liters, I do not believe, but we'll see how much it actually ends up taking. Well, our sheep pen didn't quite take 21,000 liters of water. It actually only took 6,500. So now it comes down to what do you do with the remaining 15,000 liters of water that's in here. Now, sometimes what we'll see is for the supply and transport contracts, there will be water for a supply and transport contract, which I totally don't really understand, but and not to say that we're going to do it because it is really just cheating money at that point because we can fill this tanker up with 60,000 liters of water for free. It doesn't cost us anything to fill this tanker up with the water point that we put down here on the farm. Now, the other thing we did in the episode that I had previously recorded and intended to have as the original episode 8 is we put down a sunflower field. Got this all planted in the last episode. Now, the sunflower field is kind of, it's a moderately sized field. It's not going to give us hundreds of thousands of liters of sunflowers, but it is going to get the job done. And I think eventually what we're going to do here on No Man's Land is we're going to get into the oil mill production point, and we're going to start making sunflower oil and possibly even some canola oil as well. I do need to take care of this little tree right here, though. This has got to go away. Let's see if we can get rid of this little tree here, these couple bushes along the edge of the field, without really hurting our sunflower field. All right, along this long edge of the field here, I just went ahead and put down like a little miniature makeshift version of a dirt skirt around the edge of this field, which is going to create us just a little bit of space up here. You can see kind of there was not sunflower seeds or sunflowers here to begin with, so don't think we inadvertently deleted a whole row of sunflowers, but we'll just go ahead and finish it up. Oh, I did delete just a little bit there. That's kind of a bummer, but we'll live. We still have a whole entire field that we're going to be able to harvest towards the end of this year here. The rest of that looks pretty good there. Kind of creates us a little bit of space where we can get in and actually do the harvest without any of the small bushes being in the way. Now, the next thing that we need to figure out is what do we want to do for grass? Now, we have plenty of meadow grass that we could mow. That is very apparent to us here. But I would also really like to explore the idea of putting down an actual grass field where we can harvest some grass, actually pull more of a yield, and utilize that not only for the sheep pen, but that is also going to give us some stuff that we can utilize later on down the line for our cows as well. Now, the one thing I've thought about doing is coming over here in this area and just doing a little bit of work with getting rid of some of these smaller trees, and then just convert this area here all into a grass field about as far out as we can go. And it's looking like if we purchased plot 45, we could about make that happen. I'm liking this location. I think we go ahead and purchase 45. That's going to allow us to put a grass field in over there. Grass fields are going to be pretty low maintenance for us. So I'm actually going to jump into the case first and foremost. We're going to hook up to our plow, and we're going to make our way over and get that area plowed up. All right, here we go. This is where we are going to start our field right here. I'm thinking just off the corner of this road. I might kind of pull in just a little bit more, and we are going to make sure that we have allow create fields turned on. We're going to lower the plow down, and we are going to go in a straight line for as far as we can really go. Now, what I'm going to do is when we get to the road here is I'm going to kind of just mirror some of the curvature of this road with this field. So about right here, I'm going to start to turn just a little bit. I want to keep the grass field a little ways off the road because I'd like to put some trees in between the grass field and the roadway here. So I'm just going to follow this around as much as I possibly can so I get to this back corner here. And then I'm just going to kind of creep around some of these bushes here. We'll go straight over to about the boundary line between plot 45 and 46, which is going to be about right in here. Make this turn here, and then we are going to head right back due north. Get ourselves a nice little straight line here. Kind of try to avoid this tree. I'd like to leave that natural vegetation there if I can. And we'll make our turn here. It's going to be kind of an oddly shaped field. And then we'll just kind of draw a straight line back up here. And this is going to be about perfect. It's not going to be the largest grass field that we could have picked up or could have created. But nonetheless, it is absolutely going to do what we need it to do, especially with some precision farming. Be surprised how much we could probably pull off of this field here. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and finish getting this area plowed in, and then we're going to get our soil samples taken. We're going to do our traditional lime and fertilizer to get everything set up for precision farming, and then we are going to get this grass field seeded. Well, all right, that takes care of the initial grass field here. This is not looking too bad. Pretty decent size. I do have some additional ideas though. I feel like what we could do is purchase some land over here on 35 and use this section right here to expand this field out even more. And then we could also even buy plot 44 and extend the grass field further up into here and then connect it over there as well. And then this would just be one massive grass field. We would never really need any more than that right there. I think that would be the perfect size. What we may take a look at doing is maybe we get into the month of May, we will expand out that grass field. Because for right now, I have plenty of meadow grass that I can mow and provide for the sheep for their initial stock of food. And then that would give us time to expand that grass field and make that even larger. All right, we're gonna cruise over here. We're gonna get our soil samples knocked out. Not gonna take us very long. We can almost cover this whole field with this one soil sampler. We're gonna stop about right there. We'll lower this down, and we're gonna go ahead and take our soil sample there. That is done. And then we'll just kind of cruise over this way a little bit, and we'll do the same thing here. That one is done. Let's make sure we have coverage on the entire field, so that way we know that the soil sample is done. We did have to leave a little bit of an island there because of the rocks. I don't want to delete all the rocks on this map. So let's go ahead and send those off to the lab, get that taken care of and done. And $200 soil samples have been completed. Fingers crossed. We got hammered on this field with a ton of silty clay. This is not good. Not ideal. What that leads me to believe is that we probably should not, I mean, we still could expand up into 35 here. We should pick up some loam, which would be ideal. If you look at this curvature of this silty clay line here, I'm going to pretend that that continues on. I'm going to say it connects over here. The problem is going to be is all of 44 here is likely to be silty clay. And I don't really want to take that chance. So we might, if we do end up expanding this grass field in this direction, we're going to go with 35 because we should get loam all through here. This should all be loam in this area, which will really help with our yield as well. But nonetheless, we need to go over and pick up our lime spreader. And then we also need to get some fertilizer down. And then we need to seed this grass field, and we'll be off to a pretty good start for our sheep barn. The other thing I've kind of thought about is we may need to start looking at another tractor. Mainly because this one does not really have 3-point attach in the front. So we can't really do front and back mowers. So after we get this field limed, and my trailer slides out from behind my tractor there a little bit. After we get the field limed, we'll go hook up with our seeder. I believe our seeder does both seed and fertilizer, if I remember correctly. So we'll be able to knock out the fertilization while we get this field seeded here. I am a little I'm a little concerned, again, with the silty clay. I'm a little bummed that that ended up being the case here for this field. But nonetheless, it's just a grass field. We also can do meadow grass if we need to kind of supplement ourselves. We do still have the options to expand the field. It's not the end of the world that we got the soil type that we did with the silty clay. We still have options available to us to expand and kind of try to make up for that lack of yield that we're probably going to get in that section of the field. But I'm happy with this for right now because truth of the matter is all we really do have is sheep that need grass currently. Eventually, what we're going to need to do is definitely expand the grass field or maybe even put a second one in because once we get into cows, we're going to need the grass to make silage to help us make TMR and keep the cows fed so that they continue to produce milk and slurry. I'm going to go ahead and get this field all limed, and then I will catch back up with you guys when we start the seeding process for our grass field. And then the final task that we have for today on No Man's Land is we need to get our sheep up and running. We need to get them in their pen, which means we're going to need to harvest a little bit of this meadow grass that we have around us. Use that to get the sheep fed, get them going, get them producing wool. And in a future episode, we're going to have to look at putting down a spinnery so we can start making some fabric. All right, we're finishing up seeding the grass field here. Our seeder does not also hold fertilizer, so we're gonna have to come back out here and get this field fertilized. Then we need to go ahead and we need to get our sheep over to the pen. However, it got me to thinking we need a mower system, which means I would love to be able to do a front and back mower system that does swath dropping just to make the process of utilizing a baler or a forage wagon much simpler for us as we maneuver here around the farm and get as much grass as we possibly can and as efficiently as we can. Speaking of efficiency, 86%, but that's because the nitrogen levels are down, so we still need to get that fertilized. Nonetheless, grass field's in, done, limed, ready to rock, minus a little bit of a hit of fertilization for it. And then within a couple months, this field here is going to be ready for harvest, which actually, again, I mean, just further drives home the point. We need a second tractor, and we need a mower setup. Now, the mower setup, again, I'd like to do front and rear that has swath dropping. Tractor-wise, we could probably get away with a medium tractor, depending on the style mowers that we buy. We'll get the seeder back over here to the farm. We'll get everything parked, and then we will take a look and see what we have available for mowers and eye up some tractors. And then we'll see what the month of May holds for us, because I think we're going to move into the month of May here on the farm. We'll make sure we'll check the crop calendar, make sure we're not going to be missing out on anything, but I think we're going to be pretty safe to move into the month of May, which also brings us that much closer to the next round of harvesting that we're going to need to do. We still need to also figure out what we're going to do with the 2 wheat fields that are back over where we first started this series. Again, some options that we have discussed is cutting down some of the trees and just trying to join both of those fields together. For reference, those 2 fields that I am referring to are back here. We would just kind of extend this out just a little bit. We'd follow right down the property line of plot 25, plot 26. We'd cut out some of these trees, connect the field here. We could probably even connect the field over to here, and then we would have this nice little L-shaped field over here for 26. That for now is, of course, serving its purpose as wheat fields, but eventually in the future, who knows? Maybe we could do something different with it. Well, all right, if we take a look here at the crop calendar, I don't think we're going to miss out on anything by moving into the month of May. However, now that I look at it, I do see one thing that we very well may miss out on. We need to plant our oat field. Well, all right, that's one other thing that we're going to need to take care of is we got to get the oat field planted. I do think I have a pretty good idea of what we're going to do for the mowers that I was looking at. Pretty good setup, and I'm fairly confident they're going to do swath dropping. So we have some options there. I need to kind of make my mind up if we're going to plant this oat field now, or if we want to just wait. We don't even have a barley field. So maybe what we'll do is we'll wait and we'll actually do a barley field. That plants in September. Or we could even go with soybeans. Soybeans are still able to be planted in May. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we do some soybeans. What other crops do we have available to us that we might be interested in? Sorghum. We could do a sorghum field, which is nice too, because that gives us additional feed options for the chickens that we're going to have. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay to slip into the month of May here because, again, we're going to have soybeans as an option. If we take a look here, let's see what soybeans are selling for. $1,400. And at the high point in June, they sell for $2,100. Not bad. Definitely beats out sorghum by a mile. And let's see, soybeans, June was the highest selling point. What's the harvest time for soybeans? Soybeans are harvested in October, November. So whatever we pull off that field for soybeans, we'll just throw into the silo and we'll have available for next June. So that way we can make the most amount of money off of that field alone. I think that's sounding like a plan. It's early in the morning here on No Man's Land, but nonetheless, we are going to move into the month of May. We're going to take a look at our financial situation, and then we're also going to explore getting some mowers so we can harvest up some meadow grass and we can get our sheep fed, and then we can also get some sheep here delivered to the farm. We'll see you guys in the month of May. Welcome to the month of May. Here we are. Our canola field is looking pretty good. We probably need to check up on this. It kind of looks like maybe... Do we have any weed growth going on in here? We do not. We do not. Looking good. Looking good. We'll jump in the truck here real quick. We'll take a couple laps here. We'll do some farmland circulation, check up on our fields, see how the weed growth is going. If we don't have any weed growth, that's perfect. We're going to be able to continue moving on. Otherwise, we're going to have to take a look at getting a herbicide sprayer or even a mechanical weeder, which means we're absolutely going to need a second tractor because we are going to need the narrow tires so that we do not do any sort of crop destruction. Field here is looking good. I'm going to cruise over and also check the status of our wheat fields and see how they are doing as well. This wheat field here in the back is doing really good, holding steady at 123%. No weed growth yet. Hopefully we can avoid it. If anything, I would think the weed growth is probably going to show up after we harvest this wheat field. Now, this is the section of trees right here that I'd be looking at clearing out so that we can combine both of these fields here and make them into one larger field. This one here is also doing really good. There's no weed growth on this one as well. We do have a couple things while we're over here. We're going to take a look at selling a few things because we don't need the water tank anymore over here. It's pretty pointless to have that. And then we do not need the hay barn. We can go ahead and sell that. It's not like we're going to make any money off that type of stuff. And then what we will do, just to clean this up a little bit more, is we're going to do some landscape painting in here. We're going to get some meadow grass thrown back down because there's really no point in having any sort of cement or dirt over here coming off this main road. So we'll just kind of come in here like that, clean that whole area up. That's looking pretty good there. We'll go up to get some plants in here, and we'll just get a little meadow grass. Perfect. Fill this whole area in. Get this taken care of. And it'll eventually it'll look like we just were never really even here ever before. As quick as it goes up, it all comes down. Get that rest of that cleaned up right there. That's perfect. That's looking pretty good. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right, the chickens. Let's roll down and see how the chickens are doing. So we know both the fields are doing well. This area of trees here, this grove of trees, we're probably going to clear all this out at some point in time, like I mentioned before, and we're just going to turn this into one very large wheat field. That's going to be a bit of a time-consuming process, so I'm thinking in a future episode, after we harvest these two wheat fields is probably when we're going to take that endeavor on, clean that area up, and expand these wheat fields out. Chickens have one full pallet of eggs available, and they still have 4,300 liters of food left. There's currently 272 chickens in here. That's looking pretty good. We might as well go ahead and take this full pallet of eggs back with us over to our farm. We'll go ahead and strap those in there like that. We'll let these other pallets continue to spawn. Yeah, my intention is just let them run out of food, and at which point, however many chickens we have here, we will take and put over into the new chicken coop. But another big order of business today is an additional tractor and the mower system. We need to take a look and see what we have available. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the sale page is going to be good to us this month. It's going to provide us with some options. Moment of truth for us. Let's take a look. We know we got the Case Axial Flow 9250. That is a very nice looking combine harvester, but not necessarily what we're in the market for. John Deere front attacher for some tractors. Don't really need that. Do have another disc harrow here for cultivation of the fields, but we really don't need that. A tank increase, so an expansion tank. We don't need that. We don't need that tractor. And we just literally bought a truck. This game has got to be kidding me right now with how they treat us on the sales page. Man, that's tough. That is tough. As far as the mower systems are concerned, I'm looking at this Kavernland pack right here. So $76,000 base, and that is with the swath dropping option for the rear mower system as well. I really feel like this is going to be it for us. I don't think we can hesitate. I think we just got to go for it. I just remember, too, we still need to fertilize our grass field. I did not take care of that in May. I got this little section right here mowed up. I think for right now, this is probably all I'm really going to be concerned with doing. I might do a pass here behind the house and behind the chicken coop just to have a little bit extra of an option. Maybe even go down here around the edges of our silo systems. Kind of move up here like that. Do a little mow through here. Go out and around the silo system. We'll come back in. And maybe we'll just go something like that for right now. I know it's not the cleanest look in the world, but eventually when we have a better setup here for our front and rear mowers to where we can run both at the same time, I think this is going to serve its purpose. It's going to do what we need it to do for the time being. I think it's going to give us more than enough grass to start with to get a good initial stock of grass going for our sheep that we are about to purchase here in just a little bit. I'm running out of storage ideas already in this big barn, though, to be completely honest with you. Which we can absolutely expand our storage at some point in time. I mean, we can even put down simpler barns where we can park some of our accessory type items, such as trailers and stuff like that. These mowers can also be planted somewhere else, stored somewhere else as well. All right, then just to clean this up here, basically just going to follow the swath around with this mower in the back. Not too big of an issue here. Mow some of these center stripes out, collect up a little bit more grass that way as well too. So I'm going to finish this up, get all this cleaned up, and then we are going to get ourselves a forage wagon that we can run around the farm with. We'll get all of this grass collected up. We're going to fill up the sheep pen with as much grass as we can possibly fit in that pen. Any remaining grass that we have left over, we are going to put into our silo system so that way we have it for later use as needed. And then we're going to get some sheep put down. And then we're also going to fertilize that grass field. Cannot forget to fertilize that again. Well, for the forage wagon, we went with something just a little different here. This is actually found in the stone picker section of the farm shop. But there is an option to convert the front end into a forage wagon. Now, this forage wagon here is going to hold 250,000 liters. Did we purchase it? We absolutely purchased it. We're going to have this for a long time. And I know, too, you're probably thinking, like, well, why even worry about swath dropping then if you have a forage wagon such as this? Well, we still need swath dropping in the event that we decide to make silage bales. But the beautiful thing about this is going to be, it just makes this whole process so much easier for us to accomplish. Now, I will say there are some known issues with this forage pickup. For an example, if you look out to the very left edge of the right rake, you can see it's currently in the grass, but it's not picking anything up. But if I cruise in just a little bit more, so like the target box for that rake is a little off, but it's not the end of the world. It still does exactly what we need it to do. And taking a look here, I mean, we are already at 55,000 liters of grass. We have so much grass available just from mowing this one small little section. Now, imagine this with the grass field, with lime, fertilization, precision farming. I mean, we are easily going to be pulling 150, 250,000 liters of grass off that field. If we can mow this small little area right here and pick up as much grass as we have, then that grass field is going to pay dividends for us in the long run. And there we go. Just like that, we're already done. 97,000 liters of grass came off that little, small, tiny area right there. That kind of just blows my mind. If I'm being completely honest with you, that is awesome. The best thing is we can also tip it with it. The sheep pen is not going to take all of this grass by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's 10,000 liter capacity. It might be 8,000 liter capacity. Yeah, it's 12,000 liters is all that's going to hold. So we have 85,000 liters of grass going into our silo system that we can later withdraw. We can place it into a fermenting silo, and we can convert it over to silage that way. And if we need to, we can sell some of that silage. Otherwise, we can just leave it in the silo and have it for our sheep for in the future. Which means that grass field that we have, that we just planted, oh, you know what? Can I fit in here with this tractor? I don't think I've ever actually pulled in here with this tractor. I can't fit in here. I mean, I guess realistically, I could have just backed the end of the trailer into the silo, and it probably would have done all the same stuff for us. To be completely fair, that's probably what I should have done. But nonetheless, this works as well too. We'll pull in here with the truck. 85,000 liters of grass going into the silo. If we just use that 85,000 liters for sheep, that gives us over 7 fills of food for our sheep. Oh, it's hitting. I don't think we're going to be able to dump all this in here. That's a little tricky. Okay, we'll have to keep, we'll have to remember that little trick there. And we did add, I do believe, did this have the option to add a silage tank to the front of it? I do believe we put a silage tank on the front of this. Now, this is just one more item that's kind of going to be taking up a fair amount of space here in the barn, which just reconfirms the point that we're probably going to have to look at some additional barn storage here as we go. But we have this little skirt here around this barn, so we will, for right now, just go ahead and park that right there. And it, yeah, just falls straight down onto the ground. That's, I mean, that's, I guess we can leave it like that. Well, we purchased ourselves a fertilizer spreader. We have the trailer, the fertilizer spreader trailer, but we can also utilize that for lime. I need something that holds more lime than it will than fertilizer. 10,000 liters of lime does not take us very far on these fields. So I like to have the additional capacity in the actual spreader trailer itself, because we will use lime at a much higher rate than we will use fertilizer. Let's go ahead and get here onto the field. And we are going to go ahead and start getting this fertilized up and done. This field is actually a pretty, like I said it before, this field's pretty good size. This is going to give us some pretty good yield. I mean, we pulled, what, 97,000 liters of grass just off there by the house, mowing over by the chicken coop. Imagine what all of this is going to give us. This is going to be a very good yield turnout for us, I'm thinking. Finishing up with the fertilizer here on the grass field. One small pass to go, and this field will be done. We'll jump out. We'll take a look at what our yield percentages are looking like. I'm going to say it's going to be around like 92 to 93%, or maybe right at 90. Who knows? But we'll jump out, take a look here, see what we're going to be dealing with on this field. Yeah, 89%, right about where we thought we would be. That's not bad, especially if we do decide to expand the field out. We will gain some yield that way as well, too, because we have all loam over here in this area, as we previously discussed. We can hold 65 sheep, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different varieties. I think if we just go with 15 of each, that's 8,000 here, 16,000, 24,000. That's $32,000 in sheep. I think we just go for it. Makes sense in my mind. There we go. We're at 60 of 65 cows. So we do have some room for some expansion here, some new births. Look at them all. There they are. Chilling. Absolutely relaxing. They got a full serving of grass. They have a full serving of water. And before we know it, they are going to be producing. Well, look at them all. Just, it's a feeding frenzy. Look at them all just coming over here. Look at this. Man, I love the little landscape area out here as well, too. This is very cool. Very cool. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, that is going to bring this episode from No Man's Land to a close. Really hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content here on the channel. We have the live streams. We have Frankenmuth Farms. We have some series in the works. We also may have a community Discord server as well. Need to work on getting the link posted on the YouTube channel page for that, so people who are a fan of the content can join the Discord server. It is designed for people of all experience levels with Farming Sim. If you're a new player, join the server. We're there to help. We'll provide you with tips and tricks and some helpful hints for getting started in the game. Even if you're a veteran player, you can still join the Misled Farms Discord server. Find some like-minded individuals, run some multiplayer farms, post pictures of your farms, share mods that you just cannot live without. All you can do within the Misled Farms Discord server. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we will catch you in the next episode.